Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jave Capote together with my pair. Ms. Daniela Corralo will be your reporter for this afternoon. So there are 16 chapters in the book of Social Psychology written by David G. Myers. And at this juncture, we will only tackling one certain topic and we will see what will be our topic for this afternoon. As you can see here in my slide, there is a chess mat and obviously a chess piece. And we will see what will be our topic. So there are certain words here, intimacy, prejudice, social influence, and etc. We will see where this chess piece will fall into what word. So here it goes. The chess piece falls into the word aggression. So that concludes that our topic for this afternoon is all about aggression. So first, to begin, let me ask you, have you ever wondered where does your motivation to hurt or cause harm someone comes from? Does it comes from the environmental that you have in your day-to-day lives? Or is it genetic or the hormonal imbalance in your bodies? Or does the vices that you have, just like drinking alcohol or smoking, have factors into the aggression? So kindly listen attentively and pay your attention as we will go along with our topic. So first, to define, what is aggression? Aggression is something that physical or verbal as long as the intention is to cause somebody harm or to cause or to hurt someone. But nonetheless, this excludes dental treatment that we experience every day. Not every day. Dental treatment that we experience when we go to our dentist. Also, this excludes the unintentional accidents that happened in the road. Also, aggression includes threatening, just like bomb threat, and also causing damage to other people's property, like planning it, and also kicking, slapping, and also humiliating other people. There are two types of aggression. First is the social aggression, and the second is the silent aggression. Social aggression displays violence. As you can see here in my slide, there is a dog that really displays his anger towards his fellow animal. And also the silent aggression, this means that predator stalks its prey. So as you can see here in the picture, there is a cheetah that silently stalking the crocodile, which will be his prey for the next meal. Oh. Next is that there is a two separate brain region. First is the hostile and second is the instrumental. So what do we mean by hostile? Hostile is that aggression driven by anger. So this means that I'm giving an example. For example, when you are partying in a bar, then you are just suddenly causing trouble to a stranger there. So this is what means hostile. And the other thing is instrumental. This means to some other end. So when we say instrumental, is that you carefully plan or a person carefully planned the harm that he will be causing to other people. Say for example, you want to rob the house of a business rich man. So to rob in their house, you carefully plan like what time did he go to his office, or what time did he leave the office, or what time does he eat, so that you can carefully know what time will be the perfect to rob their house, right? So the other thing is that what are some theories of aggression? First, it is biologically rooted. Second, it is natural response to frustration. And lastly, third is that aggression is being learned. So, aggression as a biological phenomenon. There are three theorists who describe what aggression is in the early years. So first is that Jean. He said that aggression is societal. It is something that we acquire from other people. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you learn from yourself. But aggression is somewhat what you learn in the environment that you lived in. But nonetheless, Thomas contradicted that no, aggression is about yourself. This is not acquired from other people. This is not about societal. This is just about you knowing the aggression and knowing your actions and being responsible with your own actions. And lastly, Freud Freud said that aggression is somewhat innate, inborn, and inevitable. The three I's. So next is that instinct and evolutionary theory. First is that instinct behavior. These are unlearned and universal. So when we say universal and unlearned, it is like the same with innate driven. Aggression is the same with sex and hunger. It cannot be eliminated, but nor it can be controlled. Next is having aggression is like a mouse releasing a mouse trap. So first, a person have it in his own, and after that he suddenly explodes like a mousetrap releasing in the mousetrap. Next is that evolutionary. David Boss and Todd said that men inherited it from ancestors. So men are aggressively like they respond quickly with their emotions. This is not about them, but these are inherited from ancestors based from the evolutionary psychologists. Next is that aggression as a biological phenomenon. First is that neural influences. Aggression is our neural influences. So let me ask you first, do you ever wonder, does violent persons have abnormal brain or normal brain? So to find out, Adrian and his colleagues in the year 1998, 2005, 2008 have used brain scans to measure brain activity in murderers and to measure the amount of gray matter. So the results are that first, it has the prefrontal cortex. These are connected to a deeper meaning and it leads to aggressive behavior. Next is that, according to the research, 14% less active when a person is aggressive. Next is that it is 15% smaller in antisocial men. And to conclude everything, abnormal brains can contribute to abnormally aggressive behaviors. Next, also, there are biochemical influences. So when we say biochemical, these are first alcohol. So alcohol enhances aggressiveness by reducing people's awareness. And when we say alcohol, when a person intake alcohol, they are sometimes out with the reality and they can control themselves. They feel like they own the world. They feel like I'm the king of the world, just like that. And next is that testosterone. So there is a connection between the testosterone and the human's aggressiveness. Human aggressiveness with male sex hormones. And the next is that having low serotonin. So when we say serotonin, it is the mood stabilizer that enhances happiness, well-being, and awareness of a person. So humans with low serotonin often found among violence in children and adults. That is why it is very important to maintain serotonin, like just having exercise or taking care of ourselves. Next is that in the biochemical influences, it is also involved genetics, combines a gene that alters neurotransmitter balance with childhood maltreatment. So when genes are combined with abuse childhood or traumatic childhood, this includes that the children will grow up being aggressive. So that is why to all mothers out there, you should carefully cherish the childhood moments of the child because it is the very important moment of a person. Next is that aggression as a response to frustration. So frustration is that blocking of a goal. Say for example, we have here Stephen Curry. His goal is to shot 3 points. So the frustration is that he cannot do it. So the next arrow is that instigation to aggress. Instigation to aggress is that he blames his teammates for not getting 3 points. And other additional responses is withdrawal. So in withdrawal, he can get out of the court and stay on the seat. Next is that outward aggression or inward aggression. When we say inward aggression is that he hurt himself, but when we say outward aggression, this means that his frustration involves other people and he gave his frustration to other people. And also, there is the indirect and displaced. So when we say displacement is that redirection of aggression to a target other than the source of frustration. When we say displacement, we can also have our burst, we can also have our outburst to other people, like we can blame our pets, like if we abuse our pets or other siblings because we are frustrated. Next is that frustration, aggression, fury, vice. First is the unjustified frustration. Next is that anger plus aggression cues. Next is that aggression. So to provide an example, as you can see here that there is a boss and an employee. Let's say that this boss is humiliating the employee because the employee cannot do well, he is not evident, and he is not performing well. So the boss humiliated the employee. So the employee have no choice because he cannot talk back because the mere fact that it is his boss. So he kept it in himself. He did not say anything to his boss. But when he got home, he burst out into his wife and in his children, and he abused his children because he is frustrated and he cannot tell it to his boss because obviously there is a possibility that he will be hired. So he gave his aggression to their family, and the family had no idea. Next is that aggression causes relative deprivation. So when we say deprivation, it is coined by the early researchers as the satisfaction, and it is also one is less well off than others. And another thing is that relative deprivation causes from the television and TV programs and also social medias. As you can see, there is a cute picture here, two ice creams and one cookies. So the cookies said that those guys are so much cooler than me. But the cookies did not recognize that they all have different functions, like the cookies is for sweets and the ice cream is cold and for the people to chill and eat some ice cream in hot season. So we must not compare ourselves with other people because we all have different functions, we all have different season in each of our lives. So we must not compare so that it will not lead to relative deprivation. Next is that aggression as a learned behavior. First is rewards of aggression. Second is that aggression is observational learning by Albert Bandura. So his experiment is a very good example because he has two conditions. First is that a children who watch non-violent TV shows and the other is a violent show. So after a children watch, most of the children who watch violent shows became aggressive and they punch all the things there. And to contradict it, those children who watch non-violent is just like a chill and not acting violently. Next is that aggression as a learned in the family. So when we say family, when for example, your mother is like always shouting and hurting you, there is a possibility that when a person grows up, he can acquire it also. Next is the culture and what we have in the culture, say for example, the sororities and what we know about the culture. So to conclude, we must be aware of ourselves because there are different factors that can lead to the aggression. So first guidelines is that a parents must give a good upbringing, especially in the early childhood, in the childhood years of a child, so that when they grow up, he will not become aggressive and he will not hurt other people. Another thing is that we must control the alcohol intake and the vices because it will also lead to cause harm to other people. And also, parents must be aware of their actions because little did they know that their children is copying them, imitating them, and it's not good when a children watch their parents which is doing a bad actions. So to proceed with, we will have Daniela Corello for the part 2, that what are some causes of aggression?
So let's proceed. What are some causes of aggression? So first is aversive incidents. Recipes for aggression often include some types of aggressive experience. Pain. First is pain. Like, natamaan lagi ka sa edge sa table. Hait. Talinis ba na siya? Like, it's very pointy ba na? And then maging verbally aggressive na ka na. Kita. Na ka na. So, next is uncomfortable heat. Like, for example, sa akong room. 12 noon to 3. Init. Kina diri. Okay. Banda ang, ano ba banda? Banda siya. So, saan kani? So, races tingin diri sa ceiling. Grabe, kainit. Sumurang. Ako, mag-anak ko. Ako ni, 12 to 3 na. Ano din ko. Nita. Isang pulos yung tikpan wala. Kain. So, nahimo ko verbally aggressive. So, next is attack. So, excuse me. So, pag if you're attacked or isang tao dyan na ki-attack, we become more likely to be aggressive then, diba? Like, it's like an eye for an eye. So, next is overcrowding. Ini na-experience jud ko ni, like, tagting tao. Like, ang amoy, ang pawis, ano siya sa skin ba, like, so malagkit. So, marang tapos, naging aggressive ko. Niyan ako sa kauban. Nan ako, I don't like it here. Bye. So, tumarag. I really hate crowd. So, mag-aggressive mo kung kana, di ba? So, next is arousal. A given state of bodily arousal feeds one emotion or another, depending on how the person interprets and labels the arousal. Like, amplified na kayong emotion. For example, amplified na kayong emotion. So, you do exercise para mawala to siya na amplified emotions. So, next is cues of aggression. Priming perception is important. What we see is available, or what our brain like interprets, or siyang na perceive na available, we fall as a victim to it sa aggression. Like for example, itong experiment na there are 2 rooms. Ang isa is naigan kahit saan sa room, and then yung isa is wala. So there are groups of men. Ang una na group na dire sa naigan, ang isa ka group is nasa wala. So they leave them. So naghatag sila og topic. So like, diba, mag-join forces man ng mga different opinions. So at the end of the experiment, mas more aggressive ng mga people na naasa naagoy gun, naging verbally aggressive sila. Lagi lang pagiging aggressive kay naagoy gun. So katong sa isa is nawala. So murag dili kayo siya priming. So gun control, like for example, tato siya sa experiment. Tapos like for example, like how do we normal people perceive a gun, or kung unsa ba sa mga hunter, or kanang sa mga police, or sa mga gang, sa mga thug, mga people, how do they perceive gun, diba? So next is
television.
isa ni siya sa mga nagbibigay ng pagiging aggressive ng isang tao. So first is pornography and violence. Rape myth mo ni siya ang kanang gina-accept gud sa mga women ang pagiging assault. Gina-accept nilang assault. So or like no but doesn't really mean no kind of thing. So exposure to porn increases acceptance of rape myth. So the more manggod a person watches kanaging type of porn na kanang grabe ang pagiging violent sa sa porn, sa pagiging aggressive na ginabuhat nila dira kind of thing is murag the more na gina-accept nila now the more exposure gina-increase ang pag-accept of rape myth. So murag katupod sila ng mga tao na grabe makatanaw, frequently katanaw porn is murag less sympathy sila sa mga ilang violent, sa mga sexually harassed or sexually assault gana siya mga natawag sexual harassment or sexually assault. Basta og kana sa domestic violence, that's murag grabe ang naging sign sa domestic violence anak na to anak daw pag ginano na ka domestic violence sumato siya ang sign. So next is
media,
lahat ng bahay may TV, flat screen ba na or katong pinaog antong nay anak pa sa likod tanan balay na TV, di ba? And then there are shows na violent, pinakardo kanang katong sutoy kanang mga grabe mga sampalan tapos there are shows po na violent pero funny. There's a lot of kind mga romance theme so kining personing violent pero funny like Tom and Jerry, Fairly Odd Parents, The Loud House, sa ba basta daghan na. So murag gina-imitate sa bata. The more they watch violent TV, the more maging violent ang bata. Like katong nakita na ko sa sinihan kanaging before mag-start ang sini sa MTRCB man to siya na kuan and before sila mag-start na atoy kanang ganing ang bata na tanan siya action movie tapos sila siyang manghod and then this magulang the older is siya daw yung bida niya si the younger is siya si kontrabida and then ang katong sa TV is gikidnap si kontrabida and then gisave ni bida unya ang katong sa ilang pag roleplay sila pag imitate ato is ang ilang mother. So gabi nilang bang ilang imitate ato sino bang hindi mo ako maano sila and then katong na then naisip dito na maragi doon niya doon sa kontrabida yung gikinap gisakal kasi gisakal marag rope man ata to basta gisakal to nya katong and then sa bata na nag-imitate ato is hindi na mama naghalay lang nagsampay lang og labahan and then nagigamit sa bata is katong gisampay sa yung mother so gisakal niya din mama niya. So the more ginapatan sa mo to siya example, so the more na ginapatan na ito mga kids o gina-imitate nila so nagiging violent. So that's why MTRCB is there, patnubay at gabay ng magulang ay kailangan. So next is video games kini. So nag-roleplay ta. So we like sa isa game we roleplay like kita ang tama na word kanang marag kanang we are taking a road like that. We are taking a road, and then this road is killing. So that role play, it kini sa example kini sa Call of Duty. Akong role is like military man siya, military, tapos terrorist, counter terrorist manana. So kini siya na role play, it portrays or it acts as to be violent, diba? It acts as to be violent. That's why it's quite active, because we are the one controlling it. Then it opposes as a passive type. So in that, the sequence of violence, alam na, we know na the sequence of violence is killing. And then there are different strategies, diba? There are different strategies on how to commit violence, on how to commit an act in the game. So there are guns, there are bombs, ganyan. Meron pa yung mga drones, marami. So this continual engagement, like for example, nakapatay ka, isa, and then nakapatay ka na naman, isa, another. So the more we ganing kill a enemy sa game, murag feel na to we are the best, diba? So we repetition, repetition, we play balik, we play ulit. So over and over again, we play it over and over again, but in a different way. Like for example, ang akong gun is like like red dot, and then next is kanang na pug ko nag scope na pug ko, nag sniper na pug ko times 8 scope back, and then murag limahaw na kay kaso makagain ka og reward, which is a reward ana mahimo kang MVP, na kay coins, more coins, tapos more points para mag-level up, or gifts na makuha nimo sa game. So naga-increase ang pattern of aggressiveness by we playing it active, diba? So murag nagataas po ng feeling sa itong pagiging aroused, and then murag naga-lessen din yung kanang pagiging social behavior natin, diba? So that's it, and let's proceed to the next one.
Hello, I'm back again, Jave Capote. So for the last main points, how can aggression be reduced? First is that it's okay to ask help. This is an idea about the catharsis. So it's okay to ask help when you felt that you are not controlled anymore by yourself. You felt that this is not me. So it's okay to ask help, especially when you are become violent and aggressive. Next is that have a good environment. Parents must teach their child to be good towards other people, and they must also possess it. Next is that stop comparing. So as you can see here in my picture, this is very important to everyone out there. So this is a company of the Amazon.com. So it says that don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, because we all have our time zones, and we don't need to be insecure, and we just need to be happy with their time, because our time will come. And just like in the Amazon.com, they are growing, their business is growing, and it is functioning well. So our time will come, and don't lose hope, because we should not be irritated with our waiting season. So that would be all. Thank you everyone for listening in our topic, and thank you ma'am for the first term, and our first term is done. So thank you ma'am for teaching us the social psychology. Bye.